We have some speakers, folks within our community who engage in planning on a daily basis, who serve as the Kane County Board partners. So, and without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to them, and we'll start with the Honorable Mayor Tom Weisner of City of Aurora.
Thank you very much, Visit Aurora, and we'll give you a big round of applause as well. It is certainly my honor to speak to you tonight. Briefly, my colleagues, my fellow mayors have allowed me to go first because I have a council meeting tonight, and I'll try to keep it brief. But I do want to speak a little bit, if I could, to the value of planning, to the value of the 2030 plan, the 2040 plan that'll come before you soon. And it's been my experience as mayor of a large city that if you're not planning ahead, you're probably falling behind. And we've seen the value of the county's plans and lived accordingly. We have done a countryside corridor plan, which was in accordance to your plan. We've also strategized for the future of looking at our growth in our downtown urban area, and that I think coincides nicely with your growth corridors that you've discussed in your plans as well. And we're working along those lines, not to sprawl or to move outward, but to take the valuable assets that we have internally, like our Fox River, and begin to bring our population down there to enjoy many of those amenities that we have. And if you're not familiar, we're not right now in construction of River Edge Park. We've cleaned up many acres, perhaps hundreds of acres, of riverfront property that was formerly very challenged, and made that available both for open space but also for mixed-use development as we go forward. So those are the plans that we've followed, very much in accordance with the plan that the county laid out many years ago. My work with the tollway, we recently passed a major capital plan for the tollway. And there was no more compelling reason for me to vote for that plan than the fact that we are now faced with a global, highly competitive economy. And if Northeastern Illinois is going to succeed and do well in the future, we have to move forward. We have to create the infrastructure. We have to do the innovating that's necessary to compete in that global economy going forward. And that's what I believe the tollway will be doing. The county was already, when we look at transportation issues, with the bus rapid transit idea, along Randall being one of those, the tollway right now is looking very seriously, working very seriously towards providing that type of transit on I-90 as we rebuild that corridor. So we're looking towards the future as we rebuild parts of the tollway and actually create new areas of the tollway to become more competitive as we go forward. I think it's a compliment to you and, as a county that you were already looking at those things and working on those things more than just a couple of years ago. So I just, again, want to commend the county for their commitment to having thoughtful planning toward the future. I think much of what you've already done has borne fruit, and I'm sure if you continue along that route, that this county will continue to be seen as one of the more thoughtful and progressive counties throughout the state. So I appreciate the cooperation. We've had actually Chairman McConaughey and I co-chair the Northwest Water Planning Alliance that deals with water planning issues in a 5-county region. And kind of the mantra of a lot of our CMAP and MPC and folks in Chicago who like to think they know more than we do sometimes would say, you know, counties and cities just can't work together, so we need to step in here. We formed the NWPA. It's 5 county governments working with 5 COGs, which are municipal governments. It's all voluntary. We're looking at the future, working together to make sure that our communities have what they need in terms of water resources as we go forward. So I think that's an example of the forward looking by the county as well as the entire area. So again, I encourage you to continue the great work you do. It's been my pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much.
And I want to thank you, Mayor, for the fine work that you do. He hasn't left yet, have you? Okay, you haven't left yet. the mayor is been a very strong voice within the Chicagoland area, within the region as it relates to transportation. He is on the tollway board and has done an outstanding job representing the interests and the needs of our area. So, Mayor, thank you very much for that, and also for your work. I've very much enjoyed working with you on the water issue, and we really have, I would agree, we really have pushed back on that whole idea that municipalities and counties can't work together. So it's been a pleasure. So thank you again.